At that moment, it was sort of when we first started, it was sort of like Don Quixote. We were tilted with windmills, and we didn't know if we were going to hit anything for real. But once we started getting some momentum, we started seeing a lot of community support. And then, when Judge Buckmeyer finally said, you know what, this is unconstitutional, this is an illegal scheme, and we need to have people whose last name end with EZ, Lopez Sanchez Rodriguez, have a seat at the table at Dallas City Hall, be allowed to serve at greater numbers on the Dallas Fire Department, Dallas Police Department, Dallas Sanitation Department. It opened up those doors that had been closed for so long, and that was really an euphoric moment, not only for me, but for thousands of people who who grew up in Dallas like me and had never seen somebody that looked like them at City Hall. Of course, when I got elected to City Council, we were able to put a Latino Cultural Center on the bond package and have a place that Latinos could consider themselves, where they could see their culture, their heritage, and that was part of the Dallas mosaic, but had been excluded in the past before. That Dallas was much more than just ballet and symphony for the rich. It was a city that was blue collar. It was a city that had all kinds of colors in the rainbow that needed to be represented, and that's what 14-1 did. It allowed us to bring that voice, that part of Dallas, into the mainstream. The original plaintiffs were Marvin Crenshaw and Roy Williams. They brought the lawsuit originally, and then the Ledbetter Neighborhood Association, which represents Far West Dallas, was predominantly heavily Hispanic area, about 88% Latino, intervened, and I was the attorney with them, and we joined the two African American plaintiffs. We went and argued our case before Judge Buckmeyer. We withstood a lot of challenges. It was an attempt to create 4 at-large seats to kind of retain some kind of power that was led by the mayor at the time, and we defeated that. And then, there was a lot of protests. There was a lot of political theater back then. I remember walking with chains around our necks, protesting in front of the Meyerson Theater at its grand opening, as rich people were getting off their limos and fur coats and tuxes, and we were out there in that rain and cold saying, hey, we're not allowed to participate. We can't build the equivalent of the Meyerson unless we have a voice at the table. Don't ever take no for an answer. Persistence and ganas, willpower, overcome, no matter how big the opponent, no matter how tough the battle. And if you continue to push, if you are sure in your cause, if you are righteous in your behavior, then you can overcome. And what we did was we were able to do that. So not only did I become the first Latino elected under the 14-1 system to represent Oak Cliff and West Dallas, I became the first Latino mayor pro tem. Now, this is in 1993. So even though Dallas had been in existence, 100 plus years, never been a Latino in my position. And even though I did not get the mayorship, we created that foundation and that pathway to allow people like Ron Kirk to be elected mayor of Dallas, the first African-American mayor. And we're glad that we were able to crack those ceilings and open those doors of opportunity for a lot of people that had been marginalized. So even though I went to Sam Houston Elementary, T.J. Rush Junior High, and I never saw anybody that looked like me on the Dallas City Council, today people, students who are attending DISD or other schools that feed and are part of Dallas, are seeing that they now can associate people that look like them, that feel like them, and they too, if their dream is one day to serve the city, one of the greatest cities on this planet, they have an opportunity to do so. I was 31 years old when I got elected to Dallas City Council. At that time, the youngest city council member in Dallas history. So I had to, I had never been appointed to a board and commission despite numerous requests, because I didn't fit the mold of what a board member for the park board or the library board or any board, because they had never seen a Domingo Garcia with a mustache and brown skin. But it educated me not only about how I could represent my community, but what the folks in Lake Highlands thought, what the people up in Preston Hollow, and what their concerns were. So I remember making a motion as a city council member to appropriate police officers based on need. Wherever you had the most crime and the most 911 calls, we would put police officers to deal that. So we dealt with issues like crime and graffiti and gangs. And I remember telling people, I represent Oak Cliff, I live in Oak Cliff, and people would go, oh. now it's 2018, and people, say you live in Oak Cliff. Oh, that's cool. I was in Bishop Arts, or I was in Trinity Groves, and that was not have been possible but for the fact that we were allowed to have representation. We were allowed to deal with our crime issues. We were allowed to deal with our economic development issues, and it made Dallas better and stronger.